So welcome, thanks for joining this morning. I will take you through the app in a very brief manner so that I don't keep you too long, and then you can just shout at the end if you have any questions. We are a task automated accounting CRM, so specifically tailored for accountants and auditors and their practices. It is a practice management tool in the sense that you can maintain your client records, maintain your staff, the work assignment for them. And then there are various other things that we assist with in terms of the statutory requirements that accountants are responsible for. And I will touch on some of those a little bit later. So to start with, when you access Data Grows, you will see your database available over here. Simply click on it and you can navigate to all of the tables and departments. Very important to start with is the setup section. There are a couple of settings that you need to follow in order for the app to work correctly. And so you will start with your accountant where you will see your name as the super user, and you can from here add your staff into their correct roles. If you need help with that, simply click on the information icon next to the accountant table, and that will take you to our help section. From there, make sure that you complete your firm settings, and this is going to be useful in terms of some of our reports, whether or not you're registered for VAT will affect your billing, and then our future integration into Sage and Xero. Once you have done that, it is important that you look at the automated billing setup that we have. And this will allow you to assign clients into what we call rate groups for billing purposes. So within their assigned packages and services, you can set that up in Data Grows at a custom price, even per client if you need to. And then our billing reports will calculate the time worked automatically. And if you have fixed retainers, those pull through as well. On the home page is a get started link. And if you click on that, you will see how to add the users, and the Excel spreadsheet template for uploading your clients is available below. And you can download that and then complete your client list. If you need any assistance with this step, please do reach out to support@mydatagrows.com. We do assist you, we do help you understand the fields if you're unsure. And then depending on the complexity, we can either assist you with your data upload or quote you in order to do it for you. We realize that not everyone has the time to get started, and that can be quite overwhelming when you're sitting with a list of 200 plus clients to pull in. Once you have uploaded your clients, you will see that this table looks a little bit like yours, and the information that we've populated helps us to automate what Data Grows does. You are able to assign your staff, your team, to the client individually in the various tasks that they are responsible for. So we have our main accountant who will be the main contact with the client. You can assign a manager and partner, and then you can further customize the different roles depending on the main departments that we have. So if you have someone who only does payroll, you can assign them to the clients who have payroll service, and they will then be assigned those payroll tasks. And then these are all of the services that we automate. So we work either according to a custom frequency and due date that you can choose, or the regulated prescribed due date. So either by SARS or subsea or the Labor Department, we then help you schedule these tasks according to your client's individual setup and registration. And you can then rest assured that those tasks will schedule at that correct frequency and due date every time. So we cater for the accounting task, VAT returns, payroll, all 3 cycles that you could pay a person, monthly EMP 201s, the biannual recon, income tax, provisional tax, turnover tax, UIF, filing returns, and workman's compensation. We then do the CIPC annual return and beneficial ownership declaration. You have a reminder whether or not monthly management reports need to be completed, and you can schedule financials. We also have a audit module, which is catered to the auditing firms to allow them to track and assign clerks to that, with a custom due date if it is not the year end of the client. Once you have uploaded your client's information, we do have supplementary tables and information that you can also store that information in Datagrow. So if you click on a client record, you can expand it by clicking on that arrow over there, and you can see all of their details, all of their registration numbers, the staff who are responsible. These are the services that we've automated for this client, and then their address below. At the top, you will see multiple tables that you can access. And so you can store additional banking details over there, a schedule of the directors, so the people who are responsible for running this company, with their information. And it's very easy to add a director. You simply click add record and complete their information. But if the director themselves is also a client of yours, you will see the list of your natural persons under existing clients available for selection. And you simply click their name. I just want to pick one who's not on the list here. And you can then just give their directorship type and the date they were appointed. And all of Rian's information, if I've completed it in the client's table, will then pull through his ID number, address, cell number, and email directly into the table, and I don't need to capture it twice. We have a required documents table that you can custom set up in the setup department under T_required documents, where you can create a custom list of documents that you need when you onboard and maintain a client. And that pulls through then to each of their details under this table, where you can then upload and store their documents and set an expiry date for when that document needs to be refreshed. If you click on the record, you will see a preview of that saved document there as well. So you don't need to download it in order to see the content of it. For your CIPC registered entities that might qualify, we have the small business tax indicator, where you can answer the questions as they apply for each year end. We will populate every year end into this table where you are either performing a corporate tax calculation or financials, and you can then answer those questions. And if you answer yes to all of the questions, meaning the client qualifies, that does pull through to the financials task as a column whether they qualify or do not qualify for small business tax. So it helps the person who is preparing those financials or tax return to know whether or not to apply small business tax. You will see that I'm still within this one client, and I can access all of the tasks that might be available and active for them, as well as the history of those tasks in each archive table. So you don't need to leave the client's table in order to see what work has to be done for that client. So you can see here, I'm simply navigating and it is filtering on the client that I have selected. In terms of some more setup for them, we have a share register where you can capture the shareholders of a particular client. And this is going to be very important for the automated beneficial ownership report. So if you complete and compile all this information, it will pull through to those reports. You can see any annual returns that need to be submitted on behalf of your clients, as well as the beneficial ownership declaration, if applicable. Here you can keep track of those declarations. It's obviously something that's very brand new to all of us. And some of you might be stressing a little bit about how to complete it, how to bill for it. But we have given you a task table with the deadline, so that you can complete it accordingly. Okay. Right. So that is the additional information that will apply mainly to the subsea registered entities. Some other navigation tips on any table that you might be looking at. You have a freeze pane option for any column, so that when you scroll right, those columns remain frozen. You simply lock the lock next to the name. We also have a great filter function that if you are looking for a specific name of a client, you can simply type in their name, and you will see that if you navigate away and come back to that table, the filter remains active. So you don't have to research every single time while you are trying to investigate on a particular table. And so that applies on any column, any table in Data Grows. To clear the filter, simply click on the X, and you can then see the full table as it was. You can also sort on any column, as well as hide and unhide columns. The best way to do that, if you feel that our layout is not to your preference, you can simply click Manage Columns in the menu button there, and then you can rearrange the columns in any table, and you can also do that for your whole team, if you set it as a global preference. So it does help in the sense that you can customize what you see and how the tables are laid out in Data Grows. Okay, so all of these tasks that have been automated have pulled through to a dashboard. So our staff that we have over here now have a whole bunch of clients assigned to them with all of these deadlines. And so the best way to plan and to see how much work you have and what those due dates are, we've built the All Tasks Due dashboard. This one is where you will definitely make use of filters, where you are going to then want to look for tasks that are assigned to your name. And so if I filter on my name over there as the accountant, I can now see that I only have these 5 records with these due dates, and this table is telling me something. So the red in the due column over there indicates a due date that has been missed. Yellow indicates a due date in the next 7 days, and white is anything after that. And I can see by the tasks that are highlighted with a number what is coming up and which deadlines I have missed. So over here, I have an accounting task due on the 15th of September. And if I want to action and access that task, I simply click on the number, and it will take me to the accounting table. It will filter on that client, that due date, and myself as the accountant. And now I can go and do that work. If I come back to this table, you'll see that the filter has still remained applied. And I can now see any other tasks that might be assigned, for example, a corporate tax return, financials. The SARS task is due on Friday. And I have 2 specialized tasks that I've created as reminders for myself. And so this is how you will use the dashboard to access the tasks according to their due dates. In terms of planning, it is quite time consuming to scroll through this dashboard to click on all of the tasks and see which clients need to be done. So we've created a report for this dashboard that allows you to actually see the detail of these clients. And if you click on the reports table, it's the your to-do list for the next 30 days. So it gives you a 30-day snapshot of the clients that need to be managed and handled. And so you'll see the summary page is the layout for each staff member with their tasks color-coded again. So if we have a look at Lizelle, you will see the same layout as before. And then if you carry on through the pages at the top there, you can see for each staff member a breakdown of the tasks that need to be done, as well as the client that is affected. And so this is a great way to plan her next 30 days. She can see what's coming up and what needs to happen, and then she can plan her time and do her work accordingly. Now, one thing to show you is that once you have seen the work that needs to be done, Data Grows has ways of completing the tasks in very easy and quick methods, as well as automated timekeeping. So if you click on the task, if Lizelle is now ready to do this declaration, she will click on this client and you will see that the play button turns blue. So if she needs to log her time, she simply clicks on the task that she's working on and pushes play. And you will see if you hover over the timer, it shows you the client as well as the task that you are currently working on. Okay. For this particular company, they are a dormant company, and that note has pulled through from the client's table. And she can now make notes on her tasks in terms of the progress that she has made. So she might say here, that she's waiting for some documents, and then keep track of the task accordingly. Okay, so that's very important as you are working through these tasks. Once she's completed this task, the way the Data Grows works is that every single table has an active table and an archive table. If she is done working on this client, she can push stop. And then if the return is completed now, she just needs to change the status to completed. Click save, and it will archive it into the archive table. So we don't delete a task to complete it in Data Grows, we change the status to completed. If, for example, this declaration is rejected, we have no idea what they're going to do with our information until we actually do them all. And she needs to restart the task, you simply change the status to anything other than completed and click save, and then it pops back to the current table. So there's our Ben and friends over there. Then just to touch on some of the other tasks that we handle, I did show you the tasks that we automate, but we do have some manual tables as well in order to track those ad hoc things that we provide, those services that we provide to our clients. The first of which is the firm and ad hoc tasks table. Here you click add record. So it is not automated, it is a manual table. And you will select the task that applies. You will select the client. You can give it a status in progress. You can assign a due date if applicable, so that the staff member who is working on it knows by when it should be due. So let's say the 6th of September. Assign the staff member who needs to keep track of it and a partner if you want oversight on that. And then you can then click save and begin working on this task. So now you can time on it and make your notes and then go from there. We have a new table that launched recently called the once off custom tasks table, that you can actually give a task name, which is a text field. It's not a fixed drop down like the firm and ad hoc. Assign a client if applicable, the staff where needed, and then the billing selection. So if you have a pre-agreed amount that you will be charging for this task, you simply select fixed amount and then the value that you need to do, that you would then want to invoice this client for. Okay, so you have full control over this table. It is once off, so it doesn't reoccur. You will need to create it every time. If it is a repeat task, this is not the table to add it into. Okay, but you can keep track of them here as well as their billing if you need to. The other table that we have for these ad hoc or unique tasks is the specialized tasks table. And you will notice no add record button over here. This table is a set frequency table that allows you control over the frequency of a specific task for a specific client. So if you go to the setup department, you will select the specialized scheduler. And this allows you to then create a task that is unique to a client that you need to be reminded of at a set frequency. So not a once-off performance, but a set reminder in a set frequency. So for example, we might need a tax clearance check on a client every 3 months so that their CSD status doesn't get rejected. And you would then assign that to the client, and then a department for billing purposes, the staff member, manager and partner again if applicable, and then you need to create the frequency. So if this one is done every 3 months, every quarter, you would select specific day of the month. Let's say, for example, the 15th every 3 months. We wanted to start on the 15th of September, and you wanted to schedule 5 days before so that the accountant can have the task in the table 5 days prior to that due date. And then when you click save, that is now in the scheduler and it creates the task for you. So this table is quite full, but there you can see tax clearance check. Genevieve is the accountant and her due date is the 15th of September. And then 3 months from then, it will schedule another task again. So this table is really useful for those nitty-gritty things that we do for our clients that we need to be reminded of. You'll see we even have a buy milk reminder for Lizelle because she always forgets and then we sit without coffee. That to me is life and death. So anything that you need to be reminded of in this table, you will set up in the specialized scheduler according to the frequency that it needs to occur. In our subsea department, we have our company maintenance tasks under the subsea tasks table. And this is where you will keep track of those company maintenance transactions that need to be lodged in subsea. So that is things like changing the address, getting a paid disclosure that we need to recover, doing a company dereg, a company registration, conversions, and then adding directors or resigning directors. And if you select the task, you can then assign the client. Okay. You can then give a status, an accountant again, but this table is special. If you click save and edit, you'll see that next to the details button is a subsea subtasks table. And we have listed for all of those tasks in that dropdown, we have given you the list of supporting documents that is required to submit to subsea so that you can successfully send it to them once and not have to repeat the process. So this is great in terms of giving it to a junior staff member who hasn't done it 1,000 times, and you can give them the subtask table and they can keep track of the documents for you. Where possible, we have given Word documents as templates that you simply click on the arrow over there and it will give you a Word document that you can just simply copy the client's information from your client table, and then they can sign this form. Okay, so that is the subsea subtask. The next thing about this table is that you know when you lodge the task in subsea, the transaction, you've got 10 days to email them the supporting documents. Otherwise, they cancel the transaction and you have to start again. So if you save the date in data grows, when you clicked lodge, so in other words, you went into subsea, you selected changing directors, you put in the resignation dates, etc., and you click lodge. And then they email you the COR 39 that your client needs to sign. From that day, you've got 10 days to respond. And so if you save the date under uploaded, when you click lodge and you save this task, we then calculate a due date, okay, in calendar days from the date that you uploaded it. So that you know by the 9th of September, you better email them the supporting documents, or they're going to cancel the transaction and your client has to sign a new COR 39. This due date then pulls through to the all tasks due under the subsea tasks table, and you can then keep track of it there. There you will see on the 9th, Danae has her task to submit. Okay. And then in the same way, you can time on these tasks. When they're done, you can mark them as completed. You can make notes as you go. And for your staff that are waiting for the client to send, we do have a way to keep track of the documents that you have received, so that you can actually make notes of when you're ready to go and lodge that task. I prefer to have everything before I click lodge, because 10 days is not a lot of time when you're waiting for a client who's overseas and unable to send you the information that you need from them. In the same way, we have our SARS tasks. Under the tax department, there is a SARS tasks table, and this is for your SARS maintenance, your compliance maintenance for your clients. Anything where SARS might request supporting documents, or where you trigger a task in SARS in order to meet a compliance requirement. For example, registering a public officer with SARS. And so you will here click Add Record and select from over 40 tasks to perform with SARS. And like I said, there's quite a few here. We've made it quite extensive. If there's something here, or if you're looking for a task and you can't find it, please reach out to support. We're happy to add to the list. So you will select your task. You will select the client. You can give it a status, assign the accountant, and again, click Save and Edit, because like the subsea subtasks, we have a SARS subtasks table where we have listed all of the supporting documents required to successfully submit this to SARS. There's nothing worse than having to wait 21 working days for them to tell you you forgot a document. And so use our tables to keep track of the stuff. We don't do them every day. And as I've said many, many times, remembering causes a lot of stress. So we've gone through a lot of effort to make sure that you don't have to remember. You simply access the task and we give you the list of documents that you need. There are also templates that you can download here, for example, the proof of residence, the resolution, etc. And we've given you the online query link that you can access to simply upload the documents straight to SARS once you have them all together. Okay. Now with SARS, you can store your case number in this task as well as the period. So if it relates to a type of return that has a period, you can save that there. But then you will know that when we give SARS our supporting documents, for each of the various things that they handle, they have a prescribed turnaround time. For the majority of that, it is 21 working days, and then others are slightly longer. But for each of the tasks that we've created, we have stored the SARS prescribed turnaround time in working days. And so if you save the date when you've responded with your supporting documents under the uploaded field, for each of those tasks, we calculate the due date in working days, so that you know within 21 working days, by the 29th of September, you should receive an update or you can follow up on this task. For example, the VAT return verifications, you guys know that they will not escalate the refund or the verification until 21 working days have passed. And so if I were to call today, for example, for this one, they would tell me, sorry, ma'am, you're 2 days too early. There's nothing I can do. The verification is still in progress. And so it also helps you to plan when you have to lose 2 hours of your life on hold with SARS. And you can then keep track of them accordingly. This makes these tasks much easier to bill because you stay on top of them, you have happy clients, and at any given time you can provide feedback and actually make a profit out of the various things that SARS requires from us. I just want to show you a few of our reports. So when time is logged in Data Grows, it can be used for one of two things. It can either be used to bill ad hoc time. So in other words, pay as you go, pay as you work clients, or it can be used to monitor your retainers. So if you have fixed retainers, it's very difficult to justify to a client why their retainer has to increase unless you can prove and show them the time logs of the client, the accountant working more and more as their business is growing. And so Data Grows allows you to automate these kinds of things. And we have reports that are used to help you to do that. So, excuse me, the first one is the accountant hours table, or report, sorry. And this is going to show you the time worked by your staff and the status of the time. I will show you how to authorize it, but this is a summary of everyone who's logged time in Data Grows and the work that's been done. You'll see that their notes pull through. So this I use in my own firm in order to pay my staff. And so if you have an overtime rate, for example, that you need to pay, you will use this report to monitor their total hours within a period, and then pay overtime accordingly. And so it's very useful. You can see where they're spending their time and what's happening in the various tasks as well. In terms of the automated billing that we offer, all of the time that is logged in Data Grows automatically gets logged in the time log table. You'll see there's my time from before on the beneficial ownership. And so this is going to grow and grow as your staff are working throughout their days. And so we have a way of locking time, authorizing it for billing purposes. And so they will see the time log table. They can also add time if they forgot to push play. They simply add record and complete the details, but they can also add a note later on. So if, for example, they forgot to add a note here on the KB business accounting task, they can note here that the bank did not reconcile, had to spend. So that if there are issues with the retainer, or if they need help with something, I really recommend that the notes field gets used quite extensively. It helps to make sure that all the reports pull through what they need to. And so they will see the time log table. The partner and super user roles will see the time authorized table. And this allows them, or you, sorry, to lock in an authorized time so that no further changes can be made when you are ready to go and invoice this particular client. You can select all of it for authorization, and you do that by clicking Mark Invoice Pending, or you can keep certain things back. Say, for example, this beneficial ownership task is not yet complete, and she had to restart it, for example, and so we've decided we're not going to invoice this client this month. You will then leave his block unticked and mark the rest as invoice pending. All of that time then moves to the time invoice pending table, and this status over here is what pulls this time according to the rates that we set up into our billing report. So in the firm reports under billing, any time under time invoice pending will pull through to the billing report. And so where we have worked physical time and we've assigned a rate, it will work out the excluding VAT and including VAT amount, and the notes do pull through. You just need to expand the little windows there, and you'll see here that this client is on a retainer for their accounting, and we do show that it is a fixed fee. Okay, so here the duration does not affect it. But what this report is telling you is that 4.35 hours was worked on this client for this period. And if their retainer is only for 3 hours, then there's an issue there. Now you can either make a choice to bill the client extra, or when it's time to revise their retainer, you have these logs to show them that actually their company has grown and it's time to increase the amount that they're paying every month. Okay. Where we have our ad hoc time, so pay as you work kind of time, you'll see that it's pulling through for accounting with that duration, and there you'll see the notes are also pulling through from that task that I edited just now. You can also see that we did the July accounting period. So this report is really, really useful for billing purposes, and it is generated from the time invoice pending table. Okay. Another feature that I want to show you is our automated emails. In the setup section, you will access that table over there. One thing to note is that you do need a Microsoft 365 license in order to make use of the 2 client emails. It is how we've integrated and automated our emails, so you do need to integrate. In order to do that, you just simply click on Settings, Microsoft Integration, and allow access. And then it takes you to the Microsoft website where you can log in and allow access to Data Grows. Once you have done that, you can then make use of our emails. And so if I use this one as an example, you can change the text of the body of the email. Just note the information in the square brackets is the logic in terms of making this a bulk email. So this will go to all of the clients in the provisional tax table where they have a due date for August. So you'll see in the description below who will receive this email. And here we mentioned that the task has not been marked as completed, so it's not yet archived. The task has not been marked as paid, because we don't want to send a client an email who's already paid their provisional tax. And the task is marked as submitted. In other words, you have submitted the RP6, it's just waiting for them to release their payment. Okay. And so that is the logic that runs behind this email. And if you want to send a test email to see what this will look like, you select Action Test Email. And what that does is it sends you, the user, the first email on the list straight to your inbox. So you can see how the email will come through, how your formatting has worked, and know that it will look right when it goes to your clients. And then if you want to see which clients are affected by this email, if you change the action to Draw Report and you click Save, you'll see a pop-up there with a link to the report. And if you click on that, you'll see that there are statuses here that will either send successfully, or there is a licensing issue, or your accountant has not integrated with Microsoft. And if you view this report, you'll see this client for BDC. This is the person that the email will address. That is her email address. And this is the assigned accountant. And so the status says that it will send successfully. However, these two for Jane will not send because Jane does not have a license allocated, and so her email will not work. Okay, so they're really useful. You can change the body of all of the 2 clients' emails. And if you have any suggestions or requirements for more emails, please let us know. Unfortunately, there's not a customizable setup because the logic actually links to the tasks in Data Grows with using those square brackets. we do need to build them, but we are adding to this every month. If you are stuck on any of the tables that I've shown you today or any of the other features that our app has, you will see by most of the tables is an information icon. If you click on that, it will take you to the help section of that table, explaining how the feature works, how to make sure that it's set up correctly. And so that is your first point for assistance within any feature. The next one is our resources tab at the bottom. If you click on that, you're going to see all of our blog posts. There are training videos, there's details about our upgrades every month. You can watch a previously recorded demo, and you can then access the full manual. So this manual is a live web-based breakdown of each of our features. And so if you're looking for something specific, you can then click on each of these and it will take you through the help section of that table. And then lastly, if you're stuck, there is a help icon at the bottom left over here. And if you click on that, you complete your email address, you type us a message and click send, and it comes straight to our support team. We don't have a ticketing system where you deal with a faceless robot. You're dealing with people who know the app, who are willing to help, and will get you sorted very quickly. We also have our email and direct contact number below here. And this number you can call or WhatsApp for assistance.